Here he is. Yep. Okay, Keith, that YouTube should be live now.
Yep, it's up.
This isn't the current agenda.
There. The other side of the chicken. I think Matt got caught on the other side of the chicken. I had to give him a minute to try.
Full panel just right there. All right, you should be good. All right. Put that to you or just sit where. All right. Warren, Debbie might. I want to discussion. All right, so we're ready to go. Remember to talk into your microphones. We had a hard time hearing on the last meeting. Everybody's ready. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the August 6th, 2020 regular council meeting for the town of Tallulah Falls. And let's have a moment of silence. Amen. All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Deb makes that motion. We have a second. Craig seconds. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, we have our consent agenda before us. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda? Craig makes that motion. Do we have a second? Larry seconds. Do we have any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. All right, Warren, we're at the attorney's report.
Helps find mute my microphone. I don't think I have anything to report in this meeting. I'll just take the items as they come up with the business section.
All right. Then since there's no attorney report, we'll move on to our old business. I believe that the alcohol license, we're still waiting for one more item on that. So I need a motion to table the beer ordinance for Mr. Jeffrey Cope until we got that put back together. Okay, Deb makes that motion. Do we have a second? Larry seconds. And for discussion, Linda, can you explain? I'm sure Larry's, that one's not plugged in. You'll have to use the little wireless one. It's right behind there. Press and hold the power button on the left.
Hello. Okay, we did get our ORI number that we were waiting for, and I did the required training. Well, I did the required training, then they gave me the ORI number yesterday. Tanya took down, Mike came in, signed the paperwork that we needed. Tanya took it down to Habersham County to get them to sign it because we thought we could get it done quicker through Habersham. And so she had something else that she brought back for me to sign today and took it back down. So they're waiting to get the information in the computer, but it should be there most any time. In fact, I tried to send him down there today and I had to call him back and tell him we weren't quite ready yet. So it's in the works. Just a matter of probably tomorrow or.
Waiting on that. Like, yeah,
So we're within a few days, would you say?
I can't speak for them, but hopefully.
Okay. One question, I didn't know this, but the fact that they're actually located in Rabun County, is that going to make any difference where they do
Yeah,
this?
you can use whichever system.
Okay.
Okay. But that's not what's on the sub, it's the actual, yeah, it's got down right there.
Right. Okay. What could I accurately report back to them? Just.
Hopefully within a few days, we're just waiting on them to download the information.
Okay.
Even once that takes place, there's got to be another meeting of the council to approve that before it can happen, right? And it's not like we can approve it, go ahead and do the vote tonight.
I don't know that you can't. That's probably an attorney question, but usually you would want to look at that history before you would, approve it.
Basically what I'm getting at is that Larry they may have this done within a few days, but we don't meet again until September. And if I understand it correctly, what I read and everything, they would still have to wait until it was approved in September by the council.
Well, that being said, it's my understanding though that basically they've met all the requirements, paid their fees and filled out their applications, and the only thing is the background check. And they have to pass a background check in order to make this, be able to do this. And provided that they do that, I would think that we could approve it conditionally upon the fact that when they get their background check, it should be good to go.
I think the only thing that was mentioned that might be a concern of doing it ahead of time might be that if something on that background check comes back that the council might want to look at, because if you simply say based on a clean back, if nothing comes back, then yeah, definitely you just go ahead and do it. I would think if you go ahead and do it, that would be obviously a question for Warren, but that was the only concern that I'd heard about, was that if something came back and you weren't sure.
Yeah, that's been my understanding. If the background check's clear, then they're good to go. And the fact that they've not, well, some of these same people have had a license up there in the past.
So there has been, that was a question I had, I don't know if it's.
It's working. We can just hear you.
That was a question I had. Has there been a beer and wine license there in the past?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
understand. I thought that there was still a vote that had to take place to approve it. Maybe there's not.
Yeah, the council does have to approve it, but you have to get your background check first. So we could do something to the effect of make the motion that we approve it as long as there's nothing comes back on the background check. But if something comes back, that needs to be reviewed.
I mean, I think what Larry's looking to do is basically, is to move, given that everything's okay, is for them to have the ability, to serve or whatever, and not have to wait another 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, because by another 4 weeks or so, they've already gone through their season area. And
Right.
it's going to benefit them for this year.
Warren has, I think
Okay.
he's trying to weigh in
Yeah,
for us.
now he can have some input in this, I'm sure.
If I may on this, if the background check comes back with nothing on it, then I would be fine with a conditional approval tonight saying that, provided it comes back with nothing on it, it's approved. I think that would be fine. The concern that I would have is if you're in what may otherwise be a gray area, or if it comes back with something on it that is maybe not directly tied to whether they can have a beer license, but is something that otherwise is out there, something other than just squeaky clean. And I'm not saying that is at all. If it is, then what that means is you'd have to have a designee make the decision over whether that's acceptable. And then the question becomes, who's going to be that designee? I wouldn't want to be that person that had to look at it and make the judgment call. If there's any judgment call whatsoever, then it probably needs to come back to council to review. But if it's a situation where there is no judgment call because nothing came back whatsoever, then I think it's fine.
Okay, Warren, right now we have a motion to table this. It sounds like we may want to reconsider that. Do I need a motion to remove that or cancel that motion?
I think you could get somebody to make an amended motion.
Amended motion? Okay. All right. Do we think we want to do a conditional approval, say that if nothing comes back, that that it would be approved? But if anything's on the report, then it comes back to council for review. Does that sound about, kind of?
That makes sense to me, but I might need to abstain from this since I'm somewhat involved.
I'll make a motion to amend.
To amend the,
Table it. Wow.
okay, so let's see if I can phrase this right.
Phrase this correctly.
Mike,
Go ahead, Warren.
I would include in that minor traffic citations. I mean, this is a little bit of the unfamiliarity with the level of the background check that we're running under this new ORI. But I assume if you run this, you're going to find speeding tickets or something like that. I don't think we care about the minor stuff. Now, if it's a DUI or something that's directly related to the application we're considering, that's a different story. So whoever's going to make the amended motion, I would say, I make the motion that we amend the previous motion to provide a conditional approval subject to a satisfactory background check returned with no history other than minor traffic citations.
Okay. So does someone want to make that motion?
What he says.
All right, so Greg's going to make that motion. Do we have a second? Joey seconds. Do we have any more discussion? I don't believe so. Okay, all in favor? 3 in favor, and Larry's abstaining.
I guess that's the thing to do, I don't know. The attorney will know that too.
Yeah, well, it passed, so your
Okay.
vote wasn't needed.
All right.
Okay, we'll move on. We need to ratify the appointments for the DDA. And we have a resolution to appoint directors of the Downtown Development Authority for the town of Tallulah Falls, Georgia. Have y'all read through that resolution? Basically, I'm going to sum it up that we have appointed Ann Irvin to a 6-year term beginning in 2018, Mary Beth Hughes to a term of 6 years beginning 2018, David Hart, a 6-year term beginning 2018, Christy Early, a 4-year term beginning 2018, Keith Nelms, a term of 4 years beginning 2018, Dustin Rogers for a term of 4 years beginning 2020, and then Joey Fountain as a member of the governing body beginning 2020. His term is to end upon the vacancy of his elected office. And the effective date of this would take effect immediately. So do we have a motion to adopt this resolution? Deb makes that motion. Do we have a second? Greg seconds. Do we have any discussion? No discussion. All in favor? 3 in favor, and I'm guessing Joey's abstaining. Yeah, okay, and Joey's abstaining.
Backdating to 2018, or I guess,
That's when the DDA started. That's when they.
yeah,
with
that's
those
what
terms.
yeah, so basically they're saying those people got 6 years, but backdated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's
I'm
backdated.
with you.
It's just I think what we found out, Linda can probably correct this, but I think we found out that we should have initially done a resolution for those appointments, and it wasn't done. So now we're trying to, not for the reappointment. So that, and our charter amendment was finally signed on the 29th, and that gives us now the official ability to let you serve and for Christy to serve on the DDA. So, all right, so that passed. Okay, we got new business. We have a Corona Relief Fund terms and conditions contract. The federal government made some money available to local governments, state and local governments, to help offset the cost of buying masks and everything else related to COVID issues. And we received, the GMA went out and fought for the small towns like our size because we weren't going to get anything, and we ended up getting some. So I think we've got a little bit we can have now, and then we can have up to about $8,400 total. But it has to be spent before the end of this year, and it has to be related directly to COVID-19 projects. So like we need to buy some more equipment so we can continue to have our remote meetings. The fire department and police department have bought some supplies and equipment. We can reimburse them and then buy them more equipment. And I think Linda has some stuff for court, but I'll let her go ahead and kind of explain a little bit more about that.
Just to clarify, the part one, or the phase one is 30% of the total amount. Our phase one amount between Habersham and Rabin is $8,952. We do have to use 30% of that by September 1st.
Oh, okay.
30% of that $2,685 is the advance amount, and so we have to submit documentation by September 1st on that 30%
And that's for
What
the,
it's gonna be used for,
of what we've already.
well,
or what's already been purchased.
mhm. And if purchases we're gonna make,
So we can all go shopping this weekend.
yeah, so we have to spend the full 2,000 or 30% of that 2,000?
The 2,685.
That's the 30%. Okay, so we have to verify what we've spent
So
thus
we've
far.
spent right at 650 so far.
Wow, that's not much of that.
Wait a minute, let's see. We have to spend 30% of the 26.
No, 20% of the, 30% of the 8952.
So that we need to have, I'm guessing, spent or verified that we have or can spend that 22 by September 1st in order to qualify for any more, is what that is. I mean, we don't have to spend it. If we don't get any more than what we've spent. What I'm getting, I guess what we're getting at.
And Linda, what can it be spent for?
So it has to be directly related to COVID-19 response, basically. So all of the PPEs, the hand sanitizers, the stuff for the police and fire department, stuff we've had to do for court. Technology, there is some things that we can spend for technology for trying to, get our meetings online virtually. So there's quite a bit, and they're putting out a lot more information about it. I mean, every day it's been a lot of emails about it. So once we get signed up,
Right.
then we can access some of that information, the guidelines.
Okay. So what this first item on our agenda is about is that there is a contract, kind of I guess you'd call it a contract, that we're saying we're going to abide by their rules, that we're not going to do anything in violation of what they're telling us we can do. And then there was another document that came along with that.
So there's a resolution to agree to the terms and conditions.
Okay. So it's
There's
two
the terms and conditions, and then there's a
Yeah, so there's
resolution.
two documents to be signed in conjunction with this, and that's what I'd be asking for permission to do so that we can move forward. So, any other questions? Larry? I mean, it's federal money.
Excuse me there, boys and girls.
Free money, I'll make the motion.
Sorry about that.
Free money, I'll make a motion to.
Okay, so Joey's gonna make that motion to, for me to sign those documents. We have a second. Larry seconds. Any more discussion?
Have you looked at any sanitizing equipment for vehicles or room or anything?
We can. I mean,
You're
let's,
looking for things that seems like that might be something really useful. I appreciate we're going to be using those in the schools right now.
yeah, and we did have an incident where our first responders had to decontaminate after a call. So we're limited on our facilities right now for that. All right, so no more discussion. All in favor? That's unanimous. All right, y'all have before you a sign permit for the general store for Mary Beth Hughes. Do we have a motion to accept that? Joey makes that a motion. We have a second. Craig seconds. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor? Unanimous. And then there's another sign permit for an off-premise sign for Mary Beth also. Do we have a motion to accept that? Joey makes that motion. We have a second. Larry seconds. Any favor? Unanimous.
I got that, thank you.
Okay, I do not see Mike Sams with us on here, and the next item is about low-level water tank alert systems, and I had found some more systems other than that $6,000 one that he had sent us the bid for. I'm thinking that's what that was about. We found some that were a little bit lower cost, and one of them can be tied into a SCADA system later. I'm wondering, since Mike isn't with us, if it'd be better for us to table this item until he can be with us to talk about it, unless Larry has the information.
I think we might want to table it just because, until we get a little bit more information.
Okay.
He had some questions about all of them. He's checked
Right.
into several,
Okay.
as well as the ones that you had submitted. And he's got some concerns as whether the low-level ones are going to be good for a commercial application.
Right.
He seemed to think they his first impression is that they were more designed for residential use.
Okay.
So I think if we'll give this a little bit more time to do a little bit more research, so we can make the best possible investment.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him in one of our conversations that the one that's about the $600 price range is actually made for a SCADA system like y'all, like we're looking at maybe doing in the future, and it would tie in. So that one's the one I
Yeah.
liked it better than the other two. Like you said, the other two are more like the lower end, non-commercial type. And, that would give us room to grow, but because we're having to spend a lot of money on this other thing, what, $35,000 on something right now for an emergency repair, I was trying to see if we could spread that cost out just a little bit by doing something like that.
And I think we might want to wait until the new tank is in place and operational, and include a piece of this system for that new tank as well.
Okay.
And I don't know how that would affect the cost of it. But,
Okay. So would you like to make a motion to table this item until our next meeting, or until we can get more information?
I believe so. I think
Okay.
that's probably
Okay, Larry.
the better move right now.
Larry makes that motion. Do we have a second?
We're just tabling the tank monitor, right?
Just the tank monitor.
Okay.
Yeah. So Craig will second that. Is there any other discussion? No more discussion. All in favor? 3 in favor, 4 in favor, unanimous. All right. The next item on the agenda is the water meter replacement at the main well. It's pretty, I think it's pretty strong, and Larry will straighten me out if I'm wrong, but that meter can't be reading right.
Right. They're pretty convinced that it's off quite a bit, and the figures that he tentatively gave me was somewhere around $800 for the new meter, plus a little bit of labor and material for the installation. And then they recommended that we take the pump the meter we have now, and send it off and have it rebuilt and shelve it for future use. So that's what we're talking about there on that. I would say realistically, you could probably figure $800 to $1,200. You know, $800 for the pump and a few hundred here and there for installation. If I learn how to use this, yeah. Let me slide that out of my way. Let's see how that works.
We can definitely hear you better anyway. So,
Okay.
all right.
So I would think that we need to do that so we can get some accurate readings. That's the kind of money I'm being told that was necessary to spend.
All right. Do we have a rough dollar amount, something we can say up to? We know the meter was like 849, I believe.
Yeah. And then
865.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would think realistically we could say $1,200 and be within a good range, depending on how much installation costs. But he didn't seem to think it'd be over, $300 or $400 worth of installation, something like that.
All right. So let's have a motion then to approve the water department spend up to $1,200 in replacing this meter. Deb will make that motion. Do we have a second? Joey seconds. Any other discussion? No further discussion. All in favor? Go ahead.
Does that cost include the rebuild of the damaged unit?
No.
So we would make a decision on that at another time maybe,
then?
or we won't include that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I don't believe it included anything to do with the rebuilding of our old one. They just recommended that. We've done that in the past. And then just
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Right. But maybe we need to get some pricing on what that's going to cost and then make that official decision later.
Yeah, you didn't have a cost for
No, he didn't
Okay.
mention it to me if he did.
Okay. All right. So all in favor? It's unanimous. All right. The discussion of options with regard to the sale or lease of town property, most specifically the Tallulah Center. I'm I'm a little bit lost on this one. So Warren, I don't know if you need to, if you have any insights or if the council, go ahead, Warren.
No, this mainly came from a request for some assistance or input from town council, and includes a little bit of legal analysis. It may therefore be something that would be more appropriate to discuss in executive session.
Okay. So it's my understanding that if the council would want to just simply sell the building, and I think there may be some offers out there, there's some offers ready. We just want to simply sell it. We could keep the building, put it up for sealed bid, and open those bids per the way we've done things in the past. If we want to lease it, we would have to do the same scenario, and it would be it could only be about a year-to-year lease, I believe. However, if the DDA does, if we turn it over to the DDA, they can sell it or they can lease it, and they can do a long-term lease, which would be more tenable to a potential leaser, lessee, whatever. So I guess that's the discussion y'all will probably need to have, is how you want to kind of move forward on that. And Warren has suggested that y'all may want to do that in executive session, since it is about about property, and that is allowed. So do we want to table the discussion until after, or for an executive session, move on with the agenda for this evening, and then pick this up in executive session at the end? All right, so let's have a motion to table the discussion. Jody makes that motion. Do we have a second? Larry seconds. All in favor? All right, that's unanimous. We're going to move this onto executive session when we get down to that. All right, before you have the officers list for the fire department. They had their vote a little bit late, partly due to the coronavirus and some shifting of things in the fire department. Y'all have seen that list, and I want to express my appreciation for all the hard work that Paul has been doing, trying to get settled into his role as acting chief, and of course he's now elected officially as their chief, and as one of the members of the department, I support his this list the way it's come up. So, do we have a motion to approve the officers for the Tallulah Falls Fire Department?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Craig makes that motion. Do we have a second? Larry seconds. Is there any discussion? Can you vote? I would think so. Oh, because Bill's an officer? Okay. All right. So all in favor? 3 in favor, and Deb is abstaining. All right. You also have in front of you for the fire department a request to purchase from Patrol Upfitters to refit the F-150 for fire department use. It currently has a blue light bar on it, and the fire department's not allowed to use blue. So they want to shift that to red and I think white and get that ready. And it'd help when we have traffic incidents and give us an extra set of lights out on the road. I can't remember the price. The price on that, was it? $1677. All right. So do we have a motion to approve that purchase?
One question, is there something that you can put on there where it can be used for either department? Is that possible?
It is possible. I don't know what the price difference would be. Let's ask our chief. Is that something that would benefit the police department, us setting that up for the police use as well?
Really not sure what we'd use it for, but my concern will be the blue lights on it. Got to be certified to be able to run those, and then it's two totally different
Well, we would probably get the fire department to come up with a policy that someone be dismissed if they use the blue lights inappropriate, or blue lights at all.
I mean, I'm good with whatever we need to do.
Okay.
The only reason for asking is that, it's a vehicle, and I would assume that it's basically at some point going to be used for a little bit of everything. Like if the police department needs it, or if the fire department needs it, or
Yeah.
Gary and them need it, or the water department would need it. So it'd be nice to have it set up so that,
And one thing we
it-
could
it
consider
can be
is
used universally.
yeah, we could consider getting like a detachable blue light that can be put on it.
Yeah, I think the only thing really I would probably use it for would be is if like maybe a tree fell, I could go get some stuff up out of the way and throw it in the back.
She can run red lights. They can run red lights all they want. So, but fire department can't run blue lights at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't technically use it for calls or anything, but I might use it if like I need to take something up to the well house or.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking,
But for that, that
traffic,
would all be them.
traffic control or something, because I think I've seen you guys take it and use it up here on the highway when we needed to reroute traffic.
Yeah, which is why we want those red lights.
Yeah, I wouldn't need it for anything like that. 'Cause
I would-
we've already got.
I would say that I would let them go ahead and do it with red lights, and then if we feel like, if our police department feels like they need to get a blue light, we could magnetically stick on later. I think maybe that would work for that. So
In his request, he's asking for the yellow, white, and red, I think.
yellow, white, and red, okay,
Mhm.
all right.
And then he, I don't know if we're.
Yellow, I may need to look, yellow you may have to have a permit for. I know the red we don't have to have a permit because it says fire department on the truck.
I think you do with yellow.
You do have to have a different permit.
I'm thinking.
Okay, I think you're right.
I don't see yellow on the quote.
I'm looking at his narrative and his report, yeah.
The actual quote just says, red and white.
Okay, I think that's what I'd read. So we can look into that.
And then we need to decide if we do this, how it's to be paid, out of their operational budget or, splost.
Oh, it
or-
would fall in SPOS, wouldn't it? Okay. All right, did we make a motion and second on that? I can't remember. Okay, we'll start over, okay. Then can I get a motion that the fire department, that we approve this request for the fire department?
I'll make a motion to approve the quote.
Okay, Craig makes that motion. Do we have a second? Deb seconds that. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor? Unanimous. All right, final item before we do our executive session, if we need it, is assignment of campground donations for the police department. Historically, down on Yona, there's a campground. That money has historically been given to the police department for going down there and patrolling it. The campground belongs to Georgia Power, and they go down, they patrol, they make sure that everything's being taken care of, and then they get to keep all the money that comes out of that cash box. What our police chief is asking is that she wants to make sure that that stays for police use. And I asked Linda kind of how we needed to do that, and I think she answered me. I just can't remember exactly how that was.
Okay, because it's part of the general fund, the police department is part of the general fund, anything that comes in or goes out still has to reflect in our budget. So right now, there's $3,400 in the budget for contributions and donations. That includes campground money, but it also includes other, private donations, that kind of thing. So there's $3,400 already in the budget that includes police department, of course, or directly reflects police department. But what this would do, if you all choose to assign fund balance, would be that anything that comes in over and above the $3,400, so that it could carry over to the next year, you would have to assign it for that use. And then, so Jolie said we just need to do that as a written memorandum, if that's what the council decides to do. But at the point at which it's going to be used, you would have to, again, add it to your budget, either amend your budget or include it in your new budget next year, if there's a carryover.
All right, so I guess we need to get a motion to sign that memo that would be allocating that money to the to police department use. Is that my? We have to. Okay. Okay, so then we need a motion that we make sure that the campground money is assigned to the police department for their use. Okay.
I'll make a motion that campground money goes.
Okay. Second is Joey will second that. All in favor? Unanimous. All right, I did forget one thing because we need to decide where the fire department's going to use their money for the light bar, fixing up the F-150. Do we want them to use their general fund, or they don't really have an equipment fund, something to buy new equipment with in their budget. They do have a repair and maintenance budget of about $5,000, I believe.
And we've had some SPOS money that would go towards that, correct? We don't have assigned it.
And we do have public safety SLOSS money available.
Yeah, let's utilize that.
Okay. So we'll need to make two motions. Okay. So get a motion to allow the fire department to use SPOS money to make that purchase. Craig makes that motion. Do we have a second? Deb seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. And then I need a motion to amend our budget to reflect the previous motion. Craig makes that motion. Second, Deb seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. All right. Want to, mayor's comments. I do have some comments this month. One of my comments is for the fire department that with Gary in town, it's been extremely beneficial. And we've seen, you guys have seen those reports. Some of the public have seen, they're putting in 60 to 70 hours worth of work around here. Cleaning, I mean, they went around and washed the street signs and got graffiti off of another sign. And they've been helping the fire department go through a bunch of stuff that just kind of been overlooked for a while. And Paul is really, for the past few months, has really spearheaded making sure that that's going in a good direction. I want to express my appreciation for what he has done in that role. And I think that he's going to grow into that position over time, and I think it'll be a good fit for the town. Another thing I want to at least consider is that we have some issues with our planning and zoning ordinances. We have a land disturbing permit that is not clear, and we've got some other issues on there. I think Craig and I talked yesterday about a typical section that we might not have about roads and some other things. So I'd kind of like to see what y'all's thoughts are. Do we want to get planning and zoning to start kind of digging through that and straighten some of those things out? We talked about a sign ordinance before that we had some confusing language between the two ordinances that we have, and we want to straighten those out. Well, y'all have any thoughts on that? Have y'all looked into it? Okay, I'll get with their director once they get going, and I'll talk with them a little bit, and then get back to y'all with some ideas of what they may want to look into. So another thing is that we're a little bit behind. We need to do a employee review for our police chief, and I need to see, do y'all want to schedule a special meeting for that. It'll most likely be done in executive session. So we'd have to either, it can either be done by like myself and Joey, or as the public safety commissioner, or we can have everybody involved. But if we do, we'll definitely need to advertise that if it's a special meeting. So I want to see if y'all want to talk about scheduling that, who all wants to be involved in that review. And,
I would also, as long as we can provide some comment.
okay. Yeah, that'd be fine. We can do that. Joey and I can schedule, get with y'all, y'all get us y'all's input, and then we can schedule that with her. Get that pulled together. Larry?
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right, then that's the way we'll proceed with that. All right. Since we need to talk about the DDA stuff.
Real quick, Mike,
Go
on
ahead.
the Verdenos, they've gone above and beyond what I expected. They're really helping out with the roadway stuff as well. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to understand the public, public all.
Right.
Anyway, the issue getting this thing resolved, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's benefited us. I'll sit down and calculate how much money they've
You don't have
saved.
to, I saw it, I read it.
Yeah, it's
impressive.
it is impressive. It's great. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the public comment section for anyone in our gallery before we go into executive session. Give y'all a few minutes to find your microphone, unmute if you want. All right, I think our public comment session is, no, go ahead. Yeah, we have Mary Beth stepping to the microphone.
I don't know if this is the time to ask this, but if y'all are going into executive session regarding DDA stuff, as the new chairperson of the DDA, I would like to be respectfully considered for attending that executive session. Warren and I talked about it earlier, so, certainly see what he thinks, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I am here and willing and able and interested in doing that.
That seems fine. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you all have the authority to invite people in. So,
Okay. All right, then, since it doesn't appear to be any more public comment, I'll have a motion to enter executive session with the new chair of the DDA to discuss property. Okay, Craig makes that motion. Do we have a second? Joey seconds. All in favor? It's unanimous. Our participants online can remain. We're going to leave it open online. We're going to go into the mayor's office to have this discussion where we know we can have some privacy, and we'll have our attorney phone in with us there.
Just out of curiosity, can the rest of us talk while they're out of the room?
I agree.
Let's hijack this thing. Anybody else there? Turn your mic on. We'll have a good time.
Hey y'all, Keith and Terry and I don't know Ernest and Kathy.
Ernest is Monty accent.
Okay.
Oh, we
It just struck me as I had this on that, it looked like we could all join in. So,
I would expect them to be in executive session for a while.
wouldn't surprise me.
Could I ask a question, please?
Sure.
I've just gotten back up here today. Is there still a boil water thing going on?
I don't know. Somebody else may.
I got an email about boiling water until further notice.
we got that email also and haven't heard otherwise.
Okay, so I need to boil some water then. Okay.
I would ask Linda when she comes back in the room.
Okay.
To see, I don't know if it was specific to if it's the whole system, all customers, or a certain leg of the water system. I don't know.
The email stated that they called people who they thought it affected, and I didn't receive a call, but I was still going to do it just to be safe. Definitely don't want to if I don't need to.
Yeah, I think we should ask her because I interpreted it was just a certain section of the water system and not all customers, but I could be wrong, and it probably err on side of caution to do for everybody. We'll ask them when they return.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and there's nothing that specifies just a section. It just mentioned that there was a break in a particular area, but it doesn't limit the boil water geography.
Well, the clarification is some people draw off of the upper tank called the hickory nut, and some people are fed off of the main tank. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm neither. So.
Keith, how is Carol doing?
Good question. Generally okay, but she's still not back up to full strength and have had just a handful of symptoms coming and going. So we're still monitoring that if this is some of the long tail of the coronavirus that she's experiencing.
Our prayers are with you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
What the ambulances were for?
I'm sorry?
Is that what the ambulances were for? We started going up to.
No, that was for Miss Morris, Miss Joyce. She had fallen is a strong word, but had slid from the bed, and Ray couldn't stop the fall, and they called us because Ray could not get her back up, and just anytime you have someone that age fall, it warrants checking out, and she'd had some, I think, some change of meds and other things. So they felt it was best for her to go down and be checked out. I think she stayed overnight. I have not heard anything definitive other than that.
Okay, I have another question for whomever. Does anyone know of someone who is like a jack of all trades person? I need some windows replaced, granite in the kitchen replaced, just odds and ends around the house. Can anyone give me a name?
That
By
sounds like
chance,
a Sari Dobbs question.
Terry?
Yes, well, the hard part is getting somebody in today's climate, whether it's the COVID or it's the work schedule. I mean, I called a plumber today and their company is closed for the rest of the month due to COVID. So they put me on a list. So
I called Tracy Bell when I had plumbing issues.
you called who?
Tracy Bell.
Oh, Tracy, yeah. So
Yep.
if you want, just email me, TERI at dobbsteam.com and
Okay.
what you're looking for, and I'll send you what people I've got, and hopefully they'll be able to do it. But it's a chore up here trying to find that. And Christy Shepherd, I don't know if she's online right now, but she and I spoke the other day. There's a company called a communication company called Next Door. I think Keith Nelms is probably familiar with it. And it's basically, Keith can probably explain it better than me, but it's where you can go on as a community and type in things like this.
Yes. I was a member of something like that in Gwinnett County before I moved here. It was
Yes.
wonderful. I loved it.
So I was communicating to Christy Shepherd last night about getting that set up.
Yes.
I had looked into it because, full disclosure, I'm not the most technology savvy person.
Me either.
So, but anyway, she was going to look into it. So that might be something if the community's interested in.
That would be fantastic. Yes. For sure.
Yeah, my understanding, it's a community information site. It's not a political
Right.
site or jokes or anything like
Nope.
that.
It's just if you are seeking help,
Correct.
kind of like what I need.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will, I'll follow up with her and see if, there's enough interest and that can be established.
If you go to Nextdoor, I think it's www.nextdoor.com. Let me check. And search for Hickory Nut Mountain. Hang on a second. Let me go.
Yeah, I established the account and they sent me another email yesterday saying, hey, you're going to do anything with it? And I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, you tag, you're it. Yeah, nextdoor.com and look for Hickory. Let's see, what do we got? Hickory Nut Estates is the way it's listed.
Oh,
And,
okay.
you can join. I have posted all that's happening right now is you're getting COVID updates, and commercials, but it definitely has possibilities.
Yeah. Well, I got a text the other day about them that you can take a COVID test. Where is it in Clayton for the next 3 Tuesdays? Is that right? Did anybody get that?
I haven't gotten that, but
That is correct. You can check on the Clayton Tribune's website, and it's being held at Clayton Baptist Church. And you have to sign up. It's appointment only, obviously.
Yeah, I wonder if it's free because it doesn't give dates and that kind of stuff.
My understanding is free. I was COVID tested several weeks ago and was negative, and
Oh,
Well, actually, I think I ended up writing a $20 check. I think it depends on your insurance.
do you know if this is going to be the nasal or blood test?
That I do not know.
I would suspect if it's for COVID, it's nasal. I think the blood test is for antibodies, I think.
Oh, well, my grandchildren all started in school this week, so I've decided I'm going to stay up here for a while to see how things go.
What school system are they in?
Walton.
Okay.
My son is an assistant principal at one of the schools, so he figures if he's got to go, then the other kids will. So I said, well, okay. If you come down with it, you can have my apartment, and I'll just stay here. Works out.
So do we think maybe what they brought up in the session, that the land disturbance in the road, talking about what was going on now?
I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't either.
In the city council, they talked about, in executive session, they were going to talk about land disturbance.
No, they're going to be talking about real estate and how to handle the Tallulah Center building, where the DDA is beginning to get people actually interested in doing something with it. And there's some questions on what are the appropriate way of town to handle that.
If you're interested, if you have land disturbance questions, when they come back out of executive session, that would be the time to bring those questions up.
Speaking of the road, I almost hit a dump truck head on the other week when I came up around that sharp curve where you can't see anything. Oh my gosh, that's a bad spot to put a road.
I don't know if that's a road or a driveway. I don't know what what's
Oh,
going
well,
on.
it's going all the way up because I can see where they're down through at the bottom of my land and Joey's. So it must be going through.
Oh, sorry, I'm old school. I have.
Well, if you get to the next door and get on Hickory Nut, I have posted. Let's see, what did I post? I'm thinking I had some of those diagrams, but I think they're looking at putting, whether it's a driveway or a roadway, I think to open up a few of those lots because of the gullies that are out there. Now, how that's going to work, I don't know. If that's going to be a road with driveways off of it or.
Well, the way put by that map that you sent out, which I thought was
Okay.
wonderful, by the way, it looks like the road is going to be joining our properties here on top. And then the houses or whatever is going to be built on the other side.
Okay. I know there's some terrain challenges in getting, something built on any of those, on several of those lots because of the slope and the
Yeah.
ravines, and that you probably wouldn't be able to get to a buildable spot without building a bridge over the ravine or something. So I think this is a strategy. And also one would hope it would open up for the possibility of selling those lots.
They won't do, they're not going to try to build the rentals there, are they?
That's their plan, I think.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. My house went drastically down in Gwinnett County when they brought in rentals into my neighborhood.
Well,
It does
that's
not
all,
make it good.
that's all being played out. That's
Yep.
the town is doing what they can.
And I am so glad. Oh, that's something else I want to ask. I'm not here 24/7, but I am beginning to be here more often. I'm interested in kind of learning these committees, like if I can volunteer one time to, to be included in something to help. Are we allowed to just go in and set in on the committees, or is that kind of what this does? Or if
All
I wanted to volunteer, who do I talk to?
I would say, mention it to the mayor, mention it to the town clerk, mention it to city council folks, whoever you know that you're available, and
Okay.
and be prepared. It may not happen immediately, but that they may call upon you at some point in time. All of the meetings are open meetings, except when you've got, in this
Yeah.
case, an executive session. I don't think planning and zoning. I don't know if they ever have executive sessions or not. DDA occasionally, but not a lot either.
Yeah. Now that I'm trying to figure out this laptop, because I'm not computer savvy either, I'm trying to get connected to all the meetings so that I can kind of learn it. Okay, I didn't get okay.
Yeah, Kathy, what Keith was saying is correct. All the meetings are open and want public involvement and input. So just reach out to the mayor and Linda, and they'd love to have your input.
Well, I don't have much input, but I just want to learn it.
Well, the best way as you're doing now is just try to attend all the public meetings and just learn what's going on so you know what questions to ask.
That's true. Okay, well, I got nextdoor.com. So I type in, I'm not seeing a Hickory Nut Estates though. I've got a street address. Do I type that in?
Yeah, put your street address in, and that may get you here. Seems like that's what I had to do.
Why is our address still coming up as Lakemont?
I would love for the town council to make that a project somewheres to get Tallulah Falls showing up as Tallulah Falls. Sometimes it's Lakemont, which I think at one point in time, maybe we shared a zip code. I'm not sure. And then sometimes it shows up as Clarksville.
It's Clarksville. Yes.
I have sent many an error report to the Weather Channel. Still doesn't happen.
That, my understanding, runs through Google. And trying to get Google to correct it is a challenge. So I don't know, maybe that'd be something to bring up under planning and zoning. Maybe they could see about helping out with that. I don't know.
Well, I suspect it all goes back to census data. Don't know for sure. I occasionally, when I'm trying to get something shipped to me, people say, well, there's no such address. And I was like, yes, there is. Well, we don't have it. It's like, I can't help that, you know.
Yes.
Usually. And pardon me if I'm distracted. I'm trying. College starts Monday, and I've got lots of prep stuff that I'm doing on the side. So,
Where do you teach?
Piedmont College.
I got my undergraduate degree from there
Ah,
back in the
very good.
80s.
Okay. Let me think. Who might have been there in the 80s?
I would
Ralph Singer probably was there teaching history.
Singer. Yes, I
Yeah.
recognize that name. I was in the education department.
Okay. Ms. Lane, Dr. Lane?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm trying to think back. Who would I have known? I'm not good at pulling numbers out of the hat, or names out of the hat.
Me either. I'm not good with names. I'm better with faces.
I'm trying to think who would have been there in the 80s. Bill Brown. Bill probably wasn't there yet in the 80s.
My history teacher was a Quaker. I don't even remember what his name is, but he was solely a lecturer, and you had to take his notes because when you had the test, you wrote exactly what he said, and it took hours.
Al Pleasure.
Yes. Oh my stars.
Students either run to Al or run from Al. Either they
Oh
like
my
his mode of teaching and will
goodness.
sign up for him constantly, or they'll run like heck.
Oh, if I had known what I was getting into, I probably would have too, but I was what was called a returning adult to school, and
Yeah.
so your choices at night, because I had to take night classes, were very limited.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I ended up buying a tape recorder, taping his class because I had to redo and rewrite everything that he said because he talked faster than what I could write.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yep. He is a legend.
I bet. I passed him, but oh my goodness. I had a few words to say about him.
Well, he's still there. He is
Is
still
he
there,
really?
rocking, right. And I say that over the period of COVID and over the summer, we've had some people who have left. As far as I know, he's still there.
Goodness. He ought to be up there in age.
Well,
I mean, I was like in my 30s when I went, but oh my goodness.
no, he's probably not a spring chicken. I'm trying to think who else in education would have been there um, in the 80s. Uh, Okay, I've got a couple of faces in a minute. The names will come with them.
Well, there was one guy, and my education director was working on her doctorate. And she kind of hooked up with this guy who was in the computer lab to help her write her thesis and all that, but I don't remember any of their names. But something happened right after I left. I kind of kept up with him, but now I wish now I could remember, but it seems like that was not a happy ending.
I'm not sure that there's more than a little drama there. By the way, guy, the council is coming
Oh.
back in. We've taken over your session here. I'm gonna video and mic out here.
Me too.
We're not getting any sound.
Sorry, that is my fault. Y'all didn't hear us. Okay, we just took a vote to come out of executive session. And we're back in our regular session now. As a result of the executive session, the DDA has a little more clarity in what direction they need to go, and we'll be having that discussion at their next meeting, I'm presume. There being nothing else on our agenda, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. Joey makes that motion.
Wait, Mike.
Yes?
Okay, I think there was somebody that had a question. Ms. Hart, did somebody have a question about the water and the boil water advisory?
I wanted to know what the boil water advisory is for Hickory Nut Mountain as well.
Larry, can you answer that? Because I had the same question, because it's only really affecting the end of Jackson Street down there. Hold on a minute.
Yes.
It said for the whole city, so.
Okay, my last conversation with environmental management was that it just affected the Cauldrons and about 3 houses on the end of River Street. So that was my last understanding in a conversation with them.
Okay, thank you. So I don't have any more water.
Yeah, that was the outage. So yeah, he issued it for the whole town, the boil water for the whole town, but
Well,
we haven't been boiling our water today.
I specifically asked him.
That wasn't boiled.
And unless I misunderstood the way he indicated to me, was that it only affected those houses.
Yeah, and that's where the break was there right across from the Cauldrons house. And so it only affects them and those Mary Beth and
about 3 on the end
the
of River
Moores.
Street.
Yeah.
So unless something's changed that I'm not aware of, that was my understanding with my last conversation with EMS.
Because actually right now there's no way for that water, if it was contaminated, to make it up to the Hickory Nut Mountain tank, because it's on its own well right now because the jungle line's out of service.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, unless he knows something we don't.
I can only say that was what
So
my last understanding was.
I think officially we would say that there is a full system boil water advisory still in effect, but y'all have some extra information if you want to make a choice different than that. That's up to you. I don't want to step over Mike's authority and say that it doesn't affect you guys, because he may know something I don't.
Ask Joey if he's boiling his water.
We boil everything.
Joey's boiling everything right now because he's trying to get over being sick.
That is true. That is true. Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Then we'll go back to our motion to adjourn the meeting. Joey makes that motion. We have a second. Larry seconds. All in favor? That's unanimous. All right. Thank you very much. We're going to end the meeting.